Hello everyone, it's Maimoona AIwali. I'm a student at Rehan College, Korangi Campus. Now to talk to ChatGPT, so let's go. Hello ChatGPT, my name is Maimoona AIwali. Now to discuss
Hey there.
about
Great to
how to overcome self-doubt and be
court.
confident.
That's a great topic. I'd love to help with that. Are you looking for some general tips or maybe a series of questions or a structured approach you can take to explore it more deeply? Let me know what would be most useful for you.
Okay, now my first question is what is self-doubt and how does it usually start in a person's life? Please give me the long answer.
Absolutely. So, self doubt is essentially a lack of confidence in oneself or one's abilities. It's that nagging inner voice that questions whether you're good enough, whether you belong, or whether you'll succeed. It often starts in childhood or adolescence, maybe from early experiences like being compared to others, facing criticism, or struggling with a new challenge. Over time, if left unchecked, it can become a default way of thinking. So, even when we achieve something, we might still feel like a fraud. But understanding its roots is really the first step toward overcoming it.
Okay, now my second question is what are the most common cause of self-doubt in students and young people?
Yeah, that's a really important question. For students and young people, a big cause of self doubt is academic pressure, whether it's high expectations from parents, teachers, or even themselves. Social comparison plays a huge role too, comparing themselves to peers, especially on social media. Then there's fear of failure. Many young people worry that if they try something new and they don't succeed, it will define them. And sometimes just a lack of experience being in a new environment like college can fuel that doubt. So it's really a combination of internal and external factors.
Okay, so my third question is how does negative self-talk affect our confidence and performance?
That's a great follow up. So, negative self talk is basically the inner dialogue where we constantly criticize ourselves, telling ourselves we aren't smart enough, capable enough, or worthy. And over time, this really chips away at our confidence. If we're always expecting failure, we hesitate to take risks, we avoid new challenges, and even when we do achieve things, we don't fully believe it. That lack of belief can make us perform worse because we hold back, we get anxious, and it all becomes a cycle. So, breaking that cycle is key to rebuilding confidence and actually performing at our best.
Okay, that's great. Now my next question
Yeah,
is why do we often doubt ourselves even when we are
that's such a
capable?
fundamental. Self often it's a protective mechanism. Our mind fully internal our accomplishment.
Okay, so my next question is how can past failure increase self-doubt if not handled properly?
Yeah, that's really crucial. So when we don't handle past failure well, meaning we don't give ourselves compassion or analyze what we can learn from it, those failures become like anchors. Instead of seeing them as isolated events, we let them define our sense of worth. And every time we face a new challenge, that old failure echoes in the background. Without reframing or learning from it, we just expect the same outcome, which makes us even more doubtful, even when we have the potential to succeed. So that's why processing failure is key so it doesn't keep feeding self doubt.
Okay, so my next question is how can past failure increase self-doubt if not handled properly?
Exactly. So if we don't process those past failures, they start to build a narrative inside us. We begin to believe that we're destined to fail or that we're not cut out for success. Each setback then feels like proof that we can't do it, even when we're capable. So by avoiding reflection, we just let those doubts grow, which blocks our ability to take risks or see future opportunities. Handling failure with self compassion is really what breaks that cycle.
Okay, so my next question is how can identify your strengths help reduce self-doubt?
That's a really powerful step. When you identify your strengths, you start to build a more balanced picture of yourself. You can reflect on past successes, big or small, maybe times you overcame challenges or received positive feedback. When you anchor yourself in those strengths, you remind yourself that you do have what it takes. And that shift helps quiet the inner critic and replace doubt with confidence.
Okay, so my next question is what role does mindset play in building confidence?
Oh, mindset is huge. If you have a growth mindset, meaning you see challenges as opportunities to learn, then confidence naturally grows. When you believe your abilities can improve with effort, setbacks don't define you, they're just part of the journey. On the other hand, if you have a fixed mindset, you feel like your abilities are set in stone, which keeps doubt alive. So, by cultivating a growth mindset, you begin to trust the process, and that trust fuels confidence.
Okay, so my next question is how can setting small achievable goals improve self-belief?
Yeah, that's a really effective strategy. When you set small, achievable goals, each time you accomplish one, gives you a little win, proof that you're making progress. These small victories build momentum and they signal to your brain, hey, I can do this. Over time, that creates a cycle of success. Each goal accomplished makes you trust yourself a bit more, which makes bigger goals feel more attainable.
Oh, thank you. Now my next question is why is self-awareness important in overcoming self-doubt? Hey, are you listening, ChatGPT? Okay, so my next question is why is self-awareness important in overcoming self-doubt?
That's a really key point. Self awareness is like having a spotlight on your thoughts and patterns. When you know what triggers your self doubt, whether it's certain situations, past experiences, or particular thoughts, you can catch those doubts before they spiral. Self awareness also helps you challenge those automatic negative thoughts. So you can ask yourself, is this really true? And that reflection is so powerful because it keeps you from being swept away by doubt and instead it grounds you in reality.
Okay, so my next question is what is the connection between fear of failure and self-doubt?
Yeah, they're really intertwined. Fear of failure often acts as a fuel for self doubt. When we're scared to fail, we start imagining all the ways things could go wrong and we assume we won't be able to handle it. That fear then plants seeds of doubt. What if I'm not good enough? What if I mess up again? And so that cycle keeps us from taking risks, which reinforces the doubt even more.
Oh,
So breaking that fear is crucial to loosening the grip of self doubt.
okay, that's great answer. Now my next question is how can accepting mistakes help in building confidence?
That's a really important shift. When we accept mistakes, we stop seeing them as signs of failure and start seeing them as normal, valuable parts of growth. Each mistake shows us what didn't work, so we adjust and get better. And as we see ourselves bouncing back, learning, and trying again, we realize we're capable. So accepting mistakes builds resilience, and that resilience is a huge confidence booster.
Okay, so my next question is what habit can increase self-confidence on a daily basis?
That's a great question. Small daily habits really add up. For example, practicing gratitude, focusing on what you did well or what you appreciate about yourself can shift your mindset. Also, visualizing success, imagining yourself handling challenges helps prime confidence. And then simple habits like daily affirmations, small acts of self care, or even just setting a tiny goal each day, when you follow through, it reinforces that belief in yourself.
How does body language reflect and influence confidence level?
Oh, absolutely. Body language is such a powerful signal, both to others and to yourself. When you stand tall, make eye contact, and keep your posture open, you actually send a boost to your brain, making you feel more confident. And when you feel confident, others perceive you that too. So by consciously adjusting your body language, you create a feedback loop. Your body and mind start aligning, and confidence naturally rises.
Okay, so my next question is why is it important to stop seeking constant approval from others?
Yeah, that's really crucial. When we constantly seek external approval, we give away our sense of worth to others. It makes our confidence dependent on how others react, which is really unstable. When we stop seeking that approval and instead validate ourselves by trusting our values and measuring success success by our own standards, we break that cycle. And as we become more grounded in self acceptance, we find that self confidence just naturally grows.
Okay, so my next question is how can learning new skills help overcome self doubt?
Oh, absolutely. When you learn new skills, you prove to yourself that you can grow and adapt. Each time you tackle something unfamiliar and start to get better, you build evidence against self doubt. You realize, hey, I didn't think I could do this, but I am. And that sense of progress boosts your confidence because you see yourself as someone who can take new steps and succeed.
Okay, so my next question is how can surrounding yourself with positive people reduce self doubt?
Yeah, that's really powerful. When you surround yourself with positive, supportive people, their belief in you can help you see your own potential. They offer encouragement, they celebrate your wins, and they help you reframe setbacks. And when you're in that kind of environment, it normalizes growth and resilience, which makes self doubt feel less overpowering. So the right people really do lift you up.
Okay, next question is what is the impact of self doubt on mental health?
Yeah, self doubt can have a really big impact on mental health. It can fuel anxiety because you're constantly worrying about being good enough. It can lead to perfectionism, where you're never satisfied, or even procrastination because you're afraid to take that next step. Over time, it can really erode self esteem and just leave you feeling stuck. So, recognizing it is key because once you do, you can start to break that negative cycle and protect your mental health.
Okay, thank you, ChatGPT.
You're so welcome. I'm really glad we could